National Panthers. So today we are going to talk about conflict, okay? The fourth element of the story, okay? So conflict. Conflict is a problem in the story. Problem going on with the characters, within the characters. Something which is not working very well. There are two kinds of conflicts. External conflict and internal conflict. So, external problem and internal problem. And external conflict is further divided into other categories. So, first kind of external conflict is character versus character. Next is character versus nature. Next is character versus society. Next is character versus fate, luck. Last but not the least, character versus technology. Okay, so these are 5 kinds of external conflict, and when we talk about internal conflict, it's character versus self. It's only one kind, okay? So let's talk about the internal conflict, internal problem, okay? Character versus self. When a character has a problem within himself or herself, the character is struggling on his own, okay? Something is going on in his or her mind. Like for example, Aladdin, right? Let's take that example, different from Cinderella this time, okay? Aladdin was poor, he wishes for more, and he becomes Prince Ali, right? And because he doesn't think he is good enough for Jasmine, right? So that was his internal problem. He was thinking that way, that I am not that good looking, right? So that was his internal problem. That was his conflict within himself or herself. Like right now for me, my internal conflict is how to prepare my lessons in this virtual teaching and learning thing. Every single day when I think about a lesson, I have conflict within myself. If I create it this way, will my students be able to understand it? If I do this, will they be able to understand it? Or what if they don't understand it? What if they don't get it, right? So when we have conflict within ourselves, or the character has a conflict with himself or herself, that is character versus self. Now, let's talk about the external conflict, okay? External problem. Let's pick the first one, character versus character. It's basically like protagonist and antagonist, hero and a villain. So for example, if we see here, let's take example of Cinderella, right? In Cinderella, Cinderella has a conflict with another characters. For example, she has conflict with her stepmom and her stepsisters, right? They were troubling her. So that was the problem in the story, right? So of course, when it's character versus character, there could be more characters. So that's character versus character, when one character in the story has a problem with another characters, right? Character versus nature, right? When a character has a conflict with the nature. For example, in Cinderella, if we talk about the nature, right? She was at the ball, she was dancing, and she has to leave before midnight, right? And she was so involved, she was in love with the prince, she was still dancing, and she forgot that it's going to be night time. And then there was midnight, right? So that nature at that time was an interruption for her, and she has to go. And for example, a character has organized a huge party and in the backyard, right? And everyone is going to be there, they're going to have fun or something like that. But then it's raining. The party is flopped, right? So that's character versus nature, right? Character versus society. Right now you guys are reading the book Malala, right? I Am Malala. That's a great example of character versus society. Malala wants to change the education system, the rules which are different for boys and the rules which are different for girls. She wants to change it. So she is raising her voice against the society. So that is character versus society. When one character, a hero or the protagonist, stands against the society. Character versus fate or luck, destiny. Like when the character has no control, right? If you talk about Cinderella, right? Her fate and luck. She lost her mother at a very young age, right? If her mother would not have died, do you think she would have had such a hard time? Father would not have remarried. She doesn't have a stepmom and no stepsisters, so she would have lived happily, right? But her, because of her destiny, her fate, mom died, right? And no control. Father remarried and has stepmom and stepsisters. There is no control when it's character versus fate, right? Character versus technology. Superpowers, superhumans, all those, like in Harry Potter and all that, you see a lot of technology and other stories as well, right? Your games, right? Though I have no knowledge of games, but your games, right? Character versus technology, when you are playing those online games, right? And you are playing game with with many of your friends, right? And then something happened, maybe in your Xbox or whatever devices you are using. That's a character versus technology. For example, if I take my example, I have to submit a report to Mr. Sierra, right? And everything is ready, my report is ready, and suddenly my system crashed, right? And I am not able to turn in that report, right? That's a character versus technology. So, and we will learn more. We are going to do a lesson on a PowerPoint. Again, we will watch a vocabulary, and also this time we are going to do a brain pop lesson, and then we would be working on activity, okay? So there are many ways I'm using so that you guys could understand what's going on, okay? So the element which we covered today is conflict. There are two kinds of conflict, external conflict and internal conflict. Internal conflict is character versus self. External conflicts are character versus character, or let me put it this way, different characters, character versus nature, character versus society, character versus fate or luck, character versus technology. Thank you.